Next modeling technique is deformers. We normally use deformers to modify basic primitives into the complex object. For access deformers, either you can go over here in this panel, you can see there are deformers over there, or you can go inside create menu and deformer tab. You can see that same options over here too. The first deformer is a bend deformer. So let's learn about a bend deformer. For the bend deformer, I have to create some basic primitives. So I create a cube over here. For deforming any object, you have to add some segment in it. So I add some segment inside this box. I add around 10, 10 and 10. To see the segment, I have to click on display lines option, go out lines option. Then after I apply a bend modifier on it. To apply effect of this bend on this cube, you have to drag this bend from here on that cube. It should be a child of that cube, so you can see the effect of that bend on that cube. So now I can go inside this object panel. I change the strength of this bend like this. You can see this is a bounding box or bounding box of this bend. If you want to fit that bounding box with this object, so just click on this go to fit to parent option. And now you can see that bounding box is moving with that object like this. If I lace the segment, you can see it's changing its smoothness. That's why segments are very important to create any model. Go back to bend option. I can change the strength and angle over here. Okay, if I want to move my bend deformer, I can click over here and I just simply move it like this. Now you can see wherever this bend deformer bounding box is touching that object, that part only get deformed or bent. You can animate that too if you want. There are different type of modes over there within the box. It's same like this. See, like this. It's only appear on the box like this. You can go with the unlimited one. See, like this. For more smoothness, you can change the parameter of fall off, like a shape, box or cone, something like this, as per as your need. Go back to strength and you can see some deformation over here because of that fall off torus option. I keep it infinite. This we can manage a bend. Next one is a bulge option. I click on this bulge option. Again the same parameter over there inside object. You can see I can change the strength of it. Oh, I can't modify because the bulge is not a child of this cube, so I just drag this cube bulge on this cube, and now I can modify the strength over here like this. Curvature of that bulge and some fillet option over here, so you can modify it little easily. I can keep it as a fit to parent, or I can move it like this or like this. This we can modify a bulge. Next one is a shear, so I click over here and click on this shear option. Again I drag this shear on this cube. I keep it as a fit to parent, or I can directly change the strength of it like this, or angle of that shear value. A curvature again for more smoothness, and fillet for this kind of effect over here. After shear, we learn about the taper option. I drag this taper on this cube, same process like a previous one. I just keep it as fit to parent, and then after I change the strength of this taper like this. A curvature and a fillet option for more smoothness. like this. I did this taper. The next one is a twist. I click on this twist option. I drag twist on this cube. Fit to parent if you want. I can directly modify like this. You can change the size of this twist and control the twisting angle like this, like this. Now you can see wherever this gizmo or mounting box of this twist touching the object, that part only get twisted. So this way you can modify the twist effect like this. Next deformer is very important one. It's called FFD. Using the FFD you can modify the object in detail. So I just drag this FFD, drag it over here. I just say fit to parent. If you want to add or change the grid, I just want to see it a little bit, so I just undo this fit to parent option. I change the grid point if you want, like 4, 5, 6, whatever it is you want. To modify FFD, you have to click on this FFD option and you have to click on this point option to modify FFD. So when I click on this point option, you can see we can access this point and we can modify this like this. From here you can modify it. From here we can modify it. That's the way you can modify the stuff using a FFD box. For more smoothness, you can increase the grid point, and that will help you to create detailed model by using a FFD like this. So FFD is a very unique deformer to create a complex object easily. Next option is a mesh. Mesh, I can say mesh is a advanced part of the FFD. In FFD we can only modify object by using a FFD box. For more control we have to use different type of object to. Next deformer is a mesh. Mesh is a advanced option of FFD. In FFD we only modify object by using a FFD box, but in mesh we can connect any another object, any kind of object to the base object, and we can modify that base object by using this other object mesh. So that's why mesh is very important or very good for modeling. So I click on this mesh option. I drag it on this cube. Next deformer is a mesh deformer. It's an advanced part of a FFD deformer. FFD deformer can only modify object by using a FFD box type of shape, but by using a mesh you can modify object by using any other complex object and create better model. So I click on this mesh option. I drag this mesh on cube, but for create a cage or for the controller object I have to create a basic object. So I just go and click on this sphere option. I just decrease the size of this sphere. You can see now the cube is inside this sphere. I convert this sphere into the editable object, polygonal object. So I click on this make editable option. Now it's editable, so you can modify its points as per our need, but I want to use this point to modify my cube, so I just undo it. Inside this mesh option you can see there's option called cage. So I drag this sphere from here to inside cage, and for apply this cage or apply this sphere as my controller for the modifying cube, I have to initialize this part. Okay, I can keep on this auto initialize option on, and I click on this and initialize option in this panel. You can see the cage or controllers for this mesh, for this cube. I can go inside point option. I select some point from sphere and I modify it like this, and I modify it. You can see it's changing small shape inside cube. For better result or for more option, I can select more point by using this live selection option. I can draw something like this and select some points. Then after I modify these all points or move this all point to modify cube with that point. This we can use a mesh option to control or to create greater or complex model. Next deformer is squash and stretch. I click on this squash and stretch. I drag this on the cylinder. Okay, inside this option, I can change the